You're listening to a podcast from the Finnish Football Show.
You've joined the Finnish Football Show. I'm Rich, and this week I'm joined by Keke. Hello, mate.
Hello.
And Ally Manson. Hello.
Moika.
But I think what we'll do is, because we haven't got our heads together properly for a while, we'll have a little bit of a kind of whirlwind tour of the rest of Finnish football. We'll go through some transfers. Finnish clubs have been in hot, exciting Finnish European qualifying matches, with mixed results, to be fair. And we'll see how we get on. But we'll come in there. Hello. Got a joinee.
Here we go. Look at that. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I thought I'd just back fresh from Europe, and so I thought I'd just give you guys a quick call and say hi.
Well, here we are. We're midway through talking about a European clash of giants at a Nordic meeting, and here's Mark joining us from a Nordic Conference League qualifier. So yeah.
Yeah, it's my voice is shot. I don't think I could last the whole hour or so that you guys are going to be going. It was hot, steamy. If anyone that's listening, I did a little live stream of the pre-match action, including a session from underneath the tifo, which is always fun. And I think things are changing at SJK. There's been a change. I've been bleating on for the last first half of the season about how bad things are, and I'd have to say things seem to be changing. It was another really good performance today, and also from the Kloppit. If any of those Kloppit are listening to this, they probably will be. Then job well done today. SJK lost 1-0. Could have been more, but could have had a couple of goals as well. So I'd say not bad against a strong opposition with a lot of fans who made a lot of noise.
Nice. Well done.
And by all accounts, who drank a lot of beer last night, and some of them slept outside the hotel rather than in it. So kudos to the Lillestrom fans as well. Go on, Rich. Sorry.
No. Go on.
I was just going to say that I'm now at home in my garden with a can of this, and
Enjoy. I
look forward to hearing what you guys have done tomorrow when I sit down to, I don't know, cut out all the F-bombs and noisy biscuits, and we'll get this show out there for everybody.
Nice one.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we will continue the SJK bashing at the end of the episode.
I look forward to hearing it, I guess. All right, chaps, take care. See you soon.
I guess in terms of transfers, Ally, what's caught your eye in the transfer market so far?
The two things that have caught my eye are the two things that haven't happened so far, which is, Teemu Pukki, is he going to go? Is he not? I've been speaking to a Norwich season ticket holder who really believes that Pukki is not going to go anywhere. And that's not because he's determined to keep a hold of him. I think he's quite a realistic fan. And I think Norwich fans are quite realistic. I think you probably have to be, being a Norwich fan at the moment. But Teemu's on such high wages at the moment at Norwich. And even in the Championship, I believe he's not getting any reduced wage because they've got relegated. I think he wrote that into his contract when he last renewed with Norwich. So, it was obviously interesting maybe for like a week or so, thinking, where could he go? Because, again, I think he's quite limited about where he would go, maybe like a Bournemouth or a Fulham, maybe playing back up to Mitrovic or somewhere there. But I think that's what he would probably have to look at, is where's he going to get the game time. So I think he's probably not going to go anywhere, but I think that's sort of a watch this space. And then the other one is our friend Yola. He seems to always be going on loan. Is his future at Leverkusen? I think this next move, whether it's a loan or a permanent, it has to be really right for him, because he's 27, I believe. So he's getting into his prime as a striker. So I'm really watching that one quite hotly, and hopefully, he'll make the best decision for him. And obviously, if it's the best decision for him, it will be great for the Finnish national team as well.
So yeah, I mean, you're right there, Ali. I mean, we watched with bated breath to see what happens with those two. They're the ones who we want to see what happens. But yeah, the transfer that's caught my eye so far is Paulus Arajuri to HIFK. I mean, you look at HIFK these days. They've got Jukka Raitala, Joona Toivio, and Paulus Arajuri. It weren't that long ago that those three were turning out as 3/4 of the back line of the national side. So yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, he's had a couple of years in Cyprus, Paulus, and he's got that permanent suntan. Looks like a bit of a castaway with his bright blonde hair and his dark brown skin. So yeah, he's got that sorted, and now he's back in Helsinki, pulling on the stripes of HIFK. But yeah, that'll be that's one to keep an eye on. I think, see how he performs back in Veikkausliiga.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that he obviously he didn't come on yesterday for HIFK in the game against Pilsner, but at the end he was obviously clapping all the fans, but he was also really good with the younger players as well, because I think that's part of why he's going to be there. He's going to be there to be that old head, that experienced player. He can obviously still play. I'm assuming he's still maybe hasn't quite had a pre-season, or is still maybe lacking a little bit of match sharpness, which is probably why he's going to be on the bench maybe for another week or two and just start to ease him in and get the minutes up. But yeah, I totally agree. That would be a really interesting signing just to see develop and hopefully enhance HIFK's defence.
Well, when you look at HIFK, they've, I mean, we've talked at length already about their injury problems. They've signed Malik Abubakari on loan from Malmö, who scored on his debut against VPS at the weekend and played another 90 minutes last night. I mean, Kups, raise that one again, have been busy. They've signed Filip Valencic, brought him back from Minsk. I mean, he scored, I think he was the top scorer 2 or 3 years ago for HIFK and scored a few for Inter as well. He made his debut, I think he came on as a sub for Kups in their Conference League game. They signed Jarkko Oksanen, who producer Mark knows from his loan at Wimbledon, but he was at Brentford B for a couple of years and didn't quite make it, and has come back to Kups. And yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we've got Rasmus Karjalainen, and is finally set to make his debut for Oulu at the weekend against Mariehamn. So there's a few players coming back with a point to prove, use that old cliche, but coming back kind of looking at getting themselves a bit of match sharpness and really kind of getting themselves, and I mean, we'll be realistic enough. They're probably looking a bit further at their next move abroad. But, and on the flip side of that, you look at Inter, who've lost Benjamin Chalman, who's gone to Poland. Their captain, Rick Ketting's gone back to Holland. So maybe not the best transfer window for them. But then, speaking of Holland, we've had Richard Jensen has moved from Holland. He's another one of the Finns in Poland. So, yeah, a bit of a expat community going on over there.
No, that's. I think that's a decent move for Richard Jensen. We've seen how it's the Polish league has worked for Finns before. I mean, yeah, our Paulus, who we just spoke about, he had a couple of years in Poland. Yeah, Petri Forsell was over there. Albin Granlund was over there. Kasper Hammerlein, he had quite a few decent seasons in Poland. So yeah, it's a decent standard. It's a decent enough move for Richard Jensen. I think it's only a 1-year deal though. So yeah, we'll see how he gets on. But like you said, Rich, another one. Sorry, just going back a touch from you mentioned it for the Helmerick roundup. But yeah, Emma Koivisto. I mean, I had a bit of a tear in my eye when I saw that she was leaving Brighton. I mean, myself and the kids have been down to, they play their home games at Crawley Town, so we've been down there a couple of times just to give Emma a cheer and let her know that there's some Finns in the crowd cheering her on. And when I saw that she was leaving Brighton, I was a little bit upset. But then, a day or so later, it was announced that she had signed for Liverpool, and it was like, wow. I mean, yeah, I was speaking to some people at the Helmerick game, and we were, debating whether it was a good move and all that for Emma. But it's like, you don't turn down Liverpool FC, do you? Do you know what I mean? I think they're ploughing a bit of money into their women's team. They want to sort of make an impression in the WSL, and they've scouted Emma. They've sort of handpicked her as a player that they want, and yeah, I'm sure she'll be very proud to be wearing that red shirt. It might be a bit more difficult just to pop along and see her on a Sunday afternoon, but yeah, we'll keep an eye out for her when she comes down with for the away games.
Even Sammy Hoopier got involved in the launch welcome video, so it's definitely got him on board. Got him out of his motocross gear anyway.
Yeah.
Well, should we have a little sort of wrap up then and just talk about the Finnish sides in Europe, seeing as we're kind of, I guess we're now halfway during the second qualifying round.
That's
now, I guess we'll just talk like in the first round. So Champions League, HIFK got through over 2 legs. Where was their opponent from? I can't remember now.
Latvia.
It was Latvia. It was RFS, wasn't it? Yeah, they got through on took a penalty competition, as Barry Davis used to call it.
In a stadium that looked like an old leisure centres from the 1970s. I sort of had to do a bit of a double take that this was a Champions League first round qualifying round. But of course, you know, not everyone can have a stadium.
No, that's it.
No, and then you had Kups beating their team, and from Georgia, Inter Turku lost to Drita of Kosovo. But I suppose we should give credit where it's due to SJK. They lost their first leg in Tallinn 1-0. They were 2-0 down in the second leg, so 3-0 on aggregate into the second half, and somehow managed to turn it around. A hat-trick from Jake Jervis, and got themselves through after extra time. So fair play.
That was something else. That was something else. That result. I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, we know how they've got on tonight because we were rudely interrupted by producer Mark. But you know, he to be honest with you, for that game where Jervis popped up with a hat trick, he deserved. You know, he suffered long enough. He deserved something to cheer about. So that was a cracking result for them. And you saw like Joaquim Gomez at the end of that game, he was sort of on his knees, arms in the air on the pitch. So yeah, finally something worked for him.
Well, that was their first ever win in a European tie.
There you
go. 8th attempt, I think it was. So fair play to them. And and as producer Mark rudely joined us with earlier, they lost 1-0 at home to Lillestrøm in Seinäjoki. Although Jervis missed a penalty. I think he hit the post after 66 minutes, and then they went up the other end and scored. So a bit of hard lines for them. Now going back to the Champions League, Ali, HIFK hosted Victoria Pilsen, the champions of Czechia, who recently were in the group stage. I think they played Real Madrid recently, Manchester United, so they've had some recent pedigree.
Yeah, and they played Man City a few years ago as well. Scored a couple of goals against them. Yeah, I mean, I have to say my knowledge of the Czech league it isn't vast, but I did a little bit of reading, and they're set piece specialists, which, you know, made me think, well, of course they're going to score a set piece, and they did after 6 minutes. They scored a penalty for handball. It was at the other end of where I was, but you could see that it probably was the right decision. And yeah, Chordy sent Connor Hazard the wrong way. 1-0 after 6 minutes. Not the start that HIFK wanted at all. I have to say, and this isn't a HIFK bias, HIFK were the better team generally throughout. They controlled the ball better. They hit the bar twice in the first half from headers. And I think, you know, were fully deserving of their equaliser on the 50th minute. Radulovic got a goal. Really nice finish. There was a questionable, you know, maybe penalty in the build-up as well, but the referee played on, and I'm really glad that he did, because it meant that it got to 1-1. But then, 7 minutes later, Pilsner, a nice little 1-2 on the edge of the area. That I will give credit for. One thing I won't give credit for was the fact that the HIFK defenders did just sort of stand around and admire it, and then totally wrong-footed Connor Hazard in the HIFK goal. And so then it was 2-1, and then you did sort of feel it was an uphill battle from then, despite, again, having the control of the game, probing, trying to create chances, but in the end, it just wasn't enough.
Yes, well, HIFK are going to the second leg of that next week, 2-1 down. And, weird sort of quirk, the draw for the next round has already been made. The winners of that tie will play the winners of Sheriff Tiraspol or Maribor. The losers of that tie will play the losers of Sheriff Tiraspol or Maribor in the Europa League, which I think, from what I've heard, may have been the first time that's ever happened, where the two draws have run together with the same potential ties.
They're just getting lazy now, UEFA, aren't they?
They are, aren't they? But we're still in a position where HIFK need to win at least one more two-legged tie to guarantee at least the Conference League group stage. So we'll see how we get on.
Just a quick one, Ali. Did the Czechs bring any away fans to Helsinki?
They brought about 12.
Oh yeah.
Which I was quite surprised by that, because HIFK had left one of the stands behind the goal totally free for the away fans. Obviously, you understand why they do that, for safety reasons.
Yeah.
But I really thought that the Czechs would bring quite a large following. But yeah, I counted about 12.
There you go.
But then, by all accounts, they brought about that many in journalists as well. I think there was some conjecture around how football at this level is covered in Finland, and the sort of pre-match press conference on Tuesday night, I think they had more Czech journalists than Finnish. So
wow,
it says it all really. And then on the other hand, Kups drew. They got a Desmond, I suppose probably quite a disappointing Desmond, 2-2 tonight at home to Milsalmi of Moldova. Ikaunix and Varonen again, with Kups, but conceded a late equaliser. So I think they would have expected to win that, and the stats were Kups had 75% possession. So fair play to them. But so second legs of that next week. One thing we didn't mention that we have talked about throughout the day in our WhatsApp group, and it should have gone in the transfer section, was the continued implosion of our friends at HIFK. And finally, the great goalkeeper Beto has flown the coop. Keke, you responded with a one-word reply to the tweet. But you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, he arrived with such fanfare with that Portuguese manager as well, who did the off before a ball was even kicked, and he's despite. And again, going back to the first Helmerick game, Tini Korpela came out of that as player of the match, and she had conceded 4 goals. But it seemed we were joking about it, but it seemed to be written into Beto's contract that he had to be player of the match every single time he went out on the pitch. You know what I mean? Despite HIFK getting turned over every week. But yeah, I mean, we saw that incident where he took, I can't remember which team it was now, but he took out an opposing forward when the referee weren't looking. That was a nasty little bit of play that you don't like to see. And I don't know, I just think it just baffles me what is going on at HIFK. I mean, that brand should be so strong. And the Stad in Derby for the league, it's the outstanding fixture. It's the one that everyone looks for. I don't know. I'd rather see a young upcoming Finnish goalie between the sticks than an old baldy. I mean, he's older than me. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
it certainly felt that Beto has been angling to try to get out of there for a couple of months, whether that was through his performances or his just behaviour, certainly on the pitch as well. So I can only imagine that this could be a nice fresh start for whether that is for a young Finnish goalkeeper between the sticks or just for the team in general.
I mean, when you look at his final appearance for HIFK was it was when they lost at home to Ilves, and he got sent off for barging into one of the coaches. I think grabbed the ball for a throw in, and I mean, to be fair, he wasn't. Sergei Eremenko was worse, and then suddenly ran off, and Beto kicked off. He got a 2-game ban, which this week was extended to 3 because of his tousery and refusal to leave the pitch and so on. And as you say, we've joked about it. His tantrums, his performances. I mean, that game against BPS, the midnight or the game without night or something like that. The nightless night game, that was it. And they lost 5-1, and that was one of the all-time bad goalkeeping performances. And every goal that went in was someone else's fault, even when he threw it in his own net. And he's gone now back to Portugal. Like, I mean, he announced it before the club by putting an Instagram story on of him on a plane over Helsinki saying bye-bye in a Finland flag. So that says a lot about him. I mean, this is a man who's won numerous Europa Leagues. He was in the Portugal squad when they won the Nations League a couple of years ago. You know, this is a man of serious calibre, and he's gone with a complete and utter whimper. I mean, to be fair, that it's funny that's probably the position that HIFK are in some health. I mean, they've lost a number of players in the last couple of weeks. I mean, weirdly, Pipe, as it's spelled, he retired from football last week to become a teacher. Things are that bad there. And, you know, they've lost several players. There's rumours of lawsuits floating around for contracts and stuff like that, which I won't go into because I don't want to be sued again. But I mean, the game last week against Mariehamn had 34 shots on goal in the game against HIFK, and it ended 1-1. The only goal they did score was from a penalty. Their goalkeeper in that game was Ramilson Almeida, who's sort of most recently was on loan in the 3rd division, I think he was, and then they've also got the young. Well, I say young, he was young once, weren't we all? But they've got a Finnish goalkeeper of Armenian descent, Felix Ferrahan, who a long time ago was at Cups. He had trials at Man United, I think at Man City as well. Went off the radar for a long time, and he's come back, and he looked really good in pre-season. I think he's one of these kind of, you know, where are they now? And he's kind of resurfaced, and hopefully one of them might get a decent run now that Beto, the fraud, has left Finland and gone off with his tail between his legs with his big bag of money.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that really does me. I mean, he can't have been on peanuts at that club. I mean, we've heard all the stories about financial trouble, you know, whether they're as serious as has been made out or what, you know. But yeah, I mean, it just seems so daft signing players like that for you know, paying them big dough. I don't know. Anyway,
on that bombshell.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was episode 100 and whatever. And thank you to the Helmerit, and we'll be back again when they play Sweden in September. So Ali, thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram. I am Mano1999 on Instagram. That's probably the best way to catch me. Or if you want to have a look on Twitter, it's then Mano99, so MANO.
And there's you with HIFK sharing your Instagram stories.
Yeah, and that's not the first time they've done it either, so I might have to start charging from now on.
There you go. They can afford it.
Yeah. And Keke, you've got your own Twitter, and you also do the very admirable Finnish Football Show Instagram.
Yeah, that's it. You can find me on Twitter at Keke Ally, and if you go to Instagram at Finnish_football_show, you can follow us over there. It's going from strength to strength, the old Instagram. We've everyone's given us a follow over there, and yeah, that's where we reach out to all the players who are kind enough to come on the show and give us their time. So yeah, follow us over there. There's some decent content. And I'm on Twitter at Escape to Stormy. So again, guys, thank you very much. And we'll see you all soon.
Kiitos, guys.
You have been listening to the Finnish Football Show. You can find us online at finishfootballshow.com. Remember to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening or watching. You can follow the Finnish Football Show page and group on Facebook and on Instagram. See the links in the episode description below. You can also connect with the 4 hosts on Twitter, at Explore Finland, at FC Suomi, at Escape to Suomi, at Keke Ally. Links to the Finnish Football Show merch stores are also in the episode description.